Oh, great. That would explain a couple things.
So
Yeah.
it's a keyboard button space bar, and you have to map it on Joy to Key or something if you want to use it.
Hey, Wooly,
Um,
do you know
so
what does have full controller support?
vampires.
Vampire Survivors.
hmm
Have you gone back to it
I
in
haven't,
the
but I saw the big updates.
so like I got the DLCs. I hadn't played the first DLC, and then I picked up the second one and I started playing it again. Boy, oh boy, that DLC for Vampire Survivors is incredible.
Oh yeah.
Like incredible. First of all, each of the DLCs is like $1.50. so
Okay.
okay, great, right? Second of all, I start playing the first of the DLC. This is actually quite a bit older, the Moonspell one. It's changing what Vampire Survivors is. So they're like, hey, we added
What
all
do you
this new
mean?
stuff, but like, hey, here's the new map. And you know how maps work in Vampire Survivors? They're just like pieces, they're just like a corridor or like a field, right?
Okay.
That are like more or less randomly generated. Not anymore. The two DLC maps are like maps that have geography and zones and different enemies that fight you in those zones. So like when you go to the Moonspell map, you're like, oh, I have to climb the mountain to go through here. And if I go through the cave, that's where the Onis attack me.
Interesting. Okay.
And on top of that, the new characters are all zany. So they have, oh god, they have, like, first of all, there's the DLCs are like, each of them like is like 50% more content than the base game. Like they each come with like 8 to 10 new weapons. But on top of that, they animate now. There's
Really? They
there's little
actually
walking
move?
animations.
Wow.
There's a tiny little walking animation.
3D
Uh
environments? What? Get
and
the fuck out of
and
here.
and so like I'm playing Moonspell, right? And I unlock the first character, which their weapon has a lot more animation to it than usual. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Then I unlock the second character, and the second character has a weapon that actually, as you level it up, it gets farther away from your character and actually becomes very bad until it's upgrade, because it's like it explodes the periphery of the screen.
Okay.
But to make up for that, every 500 enemies you kill, the character gets an install, becomes invincible, and triples their speed.
Okay.
And then the second one, the after that, when you do their full upgrade for their standard weapon, they turn into a different character and get a speed and health upgrade. Like they're doing tiny little zany things with the Vampire Survivors formula, and it's great. It's so
Man,
good.
I'm looking at this Steam page and it's like I'm seeing the bundle, like everything is dirt cheap as it was. Uh uh Nice to see them making some money on this, That's cool. But like I'm looking at the art for this DLC and it's this gorgeous like detailed portraits of these new characters and stuff. And meanwhile, up top on the main profile, it's still that photoshopped Bayonetta bullshit.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's that
You think
stupid
that's
Bayo
funny?
2 Photoshop still there.
Dude,
And
the
it's like, God
DLC
damn it, you
tides
have.
the Tides of Foscari or whatever, when you go to the Steam page, guess what? There's like a lavishly detailed like anime OP to go with it that
What
like
are we doing?
that shows like
Uh,
Maruto, the royal champion, and it's like this super well animated like Castlevania animated series, like him swinging the sword and fighting enemies, and then it cuts to like the sub Game Boy level shit, and you're like, but they have a second or third frame of walking animation now.
has the title screen changed, or is it still
No,
just.
no, it is exactly the same. Not only has the title screen not changed, they've never fixed the part where it doesn't actually do full screen on the right side.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. So This is a new classification of like it's gaining popularity, traction, and a budget, but it's not fixing anything from the past. It's
No.
just adding it to the
So
new content.
so get this. Get this. I'm back in. I'm super back in. There's a lot. Each of these also adds like lots of new miscellaneous features. Two things of real note. One, they have added a ability to punch in passwords to just unlock shit. Just listen. Is this it? Like, there's some characters that you have to like get to 29 minutes and then like hit alt enter or some shit when like a
Sure,
dog appears on your screen for half a second.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
that's stupid. Just type the goddamn cheat code into the password thing and it'll unlock.
Great.
Okay?
Okay.
The second thing that I only learned about due to the hot fix for the DLC, Vampire Survivors is getting a new engine. Full engine overhaul.
Oh shit, that's huge.
So, Wooly, I have a 4090 and a 13900K in my PC, right? When I'm playing Moonspell, it still cannot hit 60. Like it won't. It will not do it. The engine can't handle the amount of enemies on the screen. The new engine, which is not done, supposedly can maintain the frame rate near the last 2-3 minutes of the game. And that is
Wow.
bananas.
A
That's
full
bananas.
migration just to get that going. Okay.
Right. You can switch over
Interesting.
to the beta if you want, but your save file isn't guaranteed, so I wouldn't do it. But the the idea that you could play the last 2 or 3 minutes of a Vampire Survivors match at like normal speed is just insane.
God, I'm imagining that like I don't know, like is this where the 3D environments comes into play?
Oh, they're not 3D.
Okay. Because I'm just imagining what a 3D angle on the final, yeah, like 2 minutes
You
of
could
this
never do
looks
this in
like.
3D.
It would
Some
be
games,
not nonsense.
like there's other games that are doing like this style in 3D, but they never even approach the amount of like shit on screen.
Okay.
That
Yeah,
being
you know
said,
what?
I worry that the new engine will make the game way harder. Because like one of the good ways about the frame rate dying in that last 2 minutes is that it gives you more time to move.
Interesting. Yeah, okay, makes things a little bit easier too.
But yeah,
Um
hey, guess what? Fucking Vampire Survivors, fresh off its BAFTA award win, still the fucking best game you can buy for $4.
you know, if we just keep this momentum and we get to a point where like not just cutscenes, but like full on high budget content is now being released into the game, and you still have to onboard through the same stupid little
You do. You always
right.
will. You always will.
At some point, the shit starts looking AAA in nature, and but you got to get there. You have to start here first. That's gonna be amazing.
Like the whole
Um,
reason the games was able to get so much content is because it's like the shittiest looking like pixel fuck. Like
yeah, and just instant iteration nonstop.
I follow like a lot of these survivor games and a lot of them want to be like 3D and they want to look good, right? And what happens is they can't keep up with the amount of shit that they should, air quotes, be putting out because they have to 3D model and use like effects and graphics and
Mm-hmm.
sounds
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
instead of almost nothing.
I mean, if the basics of what you're doing are fun, you can use temp placeholder sprites and just make it regardless. Um, we've seen that time and time again. So yeah, by all means. Um,
I feel like
all right.
Vampire Survivors is the absolute best example I've ever seen of people saying like, I want more expensive games made cheaper, with less hour. You know that thing? Like
Yeah,
I don't need fancy
better paid
graphics.
developers.
I need
Mhm,
shitty NES graphics with cool options.
mhm, mhm, mhm.